Former Wells Fargo employee is speaking to First Coast News tonight. He says the company scheduled fake job interviews to increase diversity numbers in annual reports. That former employee says he spoke up about the issue and was later fired. On your side's Destiny McKeever spoke with Joe Bruno at his home in Palm Coast.
So it's systemic around the country.
Joe Bruno worked for Wells Fargo up until August of last year. He worked as a top executive overseeing diversity recruitment and leading 14 branches across the Northeast Florida area. He says the company frequently interviewed minority candidates just to check off a diversity box. He says they would interview minorities even if the seat was already filled.
My objective here is to shine a light on the bullying and the hostile work environment that Wells Fargo has created for me and for others.
Bruno says he was fired for what the company called retaliation against one of his colleagues, but he says the claims were false. In 2021, the company says overall external hiring increased by 17% compared to 2020, and hiring people of diverse backgrounds increased 27%. Meanwhile, Bruno says his job was to focus on diversity in hiring, and he says he didn't see enough of it while he worked for the company. Bruno also pointed out the Wells Fargo CEO's 2020 comment making headlines. The CEO claimed the company did not have enough minority talent because not enough minorities were qualified for the jobs.
Charlie Sharp said that the reason why we didn't have at the firm more qualified African Americans in leadership roles because they're not out there. This is our CEO.
Destiny McKeever, First Coast News, on your side.
Wells Fargo issued a statement to us today saying that they have researched all specific claims of conducting fake interviews and could not corroborate the claims as factual. The company also said at the same time, we take the nature of the allegations in the story seriously, and as a company, we do not tolerate the type of conduct alleged. We will continue our internal review, and if we find evidence of inappropriate behavior or shortcomings in our guidelines or their implementation, we will take decisive action.
Believe it. I 100% believe it because it happened to me, and I'm just going to share my story with my story regarding Wells Fargo practicing the fake interview. When I just moved to America, this was like in 2013. I got an interview with Wells Fargo. I applied for a job there, and I got an interview in around, I would say 2015 to be exact. And I went to the interview. It was a group interview, and it was like 10 of us there. I did well. I moved on to the other stage where I went in. I supposedly did well. That's what I thought at the moment. I went on to the other stage where I went to meet with the branch manager the branch that I was supposed to work, rather. I did all of that. It was a two-person interview me, two branch manager interview me, and they're quote unquote telling me that they love my personality, and they think that I was a good fit for Wells Fargo and all of that. And I'm telling you, they was just buttering me up or sweetening me up like a cup of tea. I did that. I didn't hear back from them. Around about a month or so ago, after I did the interview, I ran into a young lady that were at the first group interview, and I ran into her. And she and I was at the subway talking, and she said to me, I would never forget it. I'd never, ever forget it. And she said to me, you know that interview that we did, it was a sham. The Wells Fargo don't really want to hire us as black people. And I look at her and I'm like, what? Because I was a bit naive. This is before now where everybody is going up and talking about blackness and you have to be black and all of that. This is, I'm telling you, 2015, which you all know. The thing about Yes, we know that racism was there, but it was under the carpet per se. It's not like it's now with the old George Floyd situation where you see all of these corporate companies now coming out hiring black people and all of that. That's another story. And when she said it to me, I told her, honest to God, I said to her, no, I don't believe you, because I did a second interview. I went to the branch. I meet with the two managers who were supposed, and she's like, okay, you listen out to see if they're gonna call you back for call you and tell you that you get the job, and they never did. And this was in 2015, ladies and gentlemen. 2015. So now that this senior executive came out now and breaking this story with the New York Times, and all the newspapers are now running with the headline, it's true. It's nothing new. They have been doing it for years. Because I personally can talk about it. It happened to me. And at first, when the young lady said it to me, who was also a part of, I said, the first group interview, I totally was acting naive, and I told her, no, I don't believe it. I think she was making it up. And I just never believe her. So it's something that is going on now. Well, we are thankful that this executive, I mean, they turned on him and he turned on them rather in a much painful way. We're thankful for that, but at the end of the day, he was a part of this problem.
This morning because of an issue with diversity. They are trying to diversify their company all in all, but according to Times Magazine, they are not doing it the right way. They are holding interviews for diverse candidates for positions promised to white men by saying, hey, we're going to bring in a so-called woman or a so-called person of color to fill that spot, just to make sure that we are looking good on paper and avoid possible audits. So folks,
on that, I just want, because I was reading some stuff online, and a lot of people were saying that, oh, that's why we need more black executive, and that's why we need more black people on the board and so forth. And I'm going to say something to you all. Sometimes it doesn't even matter that we have black people there. I'm being very honest. Sometimes it doesn't even matter, because some of these same black people that elevate themselves in corporate America, and they have been a manager, a supervisor, executive or whatever, they don't give a F about you all. And I'm speaking on a personal level. I know that. They don't. So sometimes it doesn't even matter. Sometimes those same black manager or black executive or whatsoever we want to call them, they're even worse than their white counterpart. Because they want to show off to them, to show them, I am one of you. So don't believe that because I am black, I'm going to stick up for my own. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that I need these people or these black executive or whatsoever to baby us or to take side when we as a black people do something that is wrong. I'm not saying that at all. I want to share this last story with you. I used to work for a very big company, retail company in America, and I was working for the company for almost 5 years at the time. I'd never come to work late. I never get a write-up. I never have a disciplinary action against me. Not at all. My record was clean. And I moved from the department that I was, and I got a promotion to go another department. When I went to that department, a particular individual didn't like me for some reason or the other. That's his problem. That's not mine. Long story short, he just always do some stuff, and I went to my direct supervisor, who is also his direct supervisor as well, and I kind of said to her, I said, this individual, I don't know what's going on with him or whatever. And she's like, oh, don't pay him any mind. That's how he is. He's grumpy and that's how he is. And she tell me other story of, oh, he and this person can't get along and this person before and so forth. Never paid any mind. It went on. I went back to her and she said, don't pay it any mind, whatever. Long story short, one particular morning, I walked into a room and I heard him was having a discussion about me. Not a pleasant discussion. And I did like what any other ordinary person would do. You go into a room, you hear somebody talking about you, you want to know why that individual is talking about you. And I said, why are you calling my name? Grant you, this individual didn't like me from the jump start. The moment I came to the department, he didn't like me. And he make it clear that he just didn't like me at all, which I have no problem with it. I can work with you if you don't like me. That's perfectly fine. Who I can't work with is people who smile in my face and know that you don't like me. That's perfectly fine. And I said to him, why are you calling my name? Just like that. And he went off. The job that we used to do, we used to work with box cutter. He stepped in my personal space, brandished his black box cutter to me, and said to me I should take my best shot. Put his face into mine and said I should take my best shot. Me being naive, I wouldn't say naive, that I was doing the right thing. I went to my direct manager. I didn't go back to my supervisor now. I went to my direct manager first. I explained the situation to her. And after I explained the situation to her, she said to me, I said to her, I just wanted you to know because I'm going to take this to HR. I went to the HR manager. Wait for it. I went to the HR manager, and the HR manager wasn't a white person. She was a black person. I went to the HR manager, not saying that because she's a black person, I thought she was going to take side, but I create my scenario to her. I went to the HR manager and I said to her, explain whatever. She said to me she's going to do an investigation. She called in the guy, so forth and so forth. Ladies and gentlemen, only to know that I, in turn, get the blame for it. Everything was my fault. I shouldn't have said anything to the individual. You went into a room and you hear this individual talking about you. You shouldn't have said nothing at all to him. You should have walked and turned around and said nothing at all. Yes. Remember, I've working with the company for 5 years. I've never have a discipline action against me for nothing at all. I am always early, always on time, do my work, everything. Never have a write up at all against my name for 5 years. And again, this was a black person. So my point in saying all of that, I know it's a long win, but my point in saying all of that is saying sometimes we have black people in power and it doesn't even make sense. Because this individual was a white individual. This co-worker was a white white guy. Yes. And I was shocked. I just couldn't believe it at all that when this HR person said to me, you could have made the situation worse. I was shocked. I just totally couldn't believe it at all. And that's how I ended up, because there was nowhere to go after that. For me, at least, because if you are HR and you're supposed to be a mutual party, and you are saying stuff like this to another employee who have done nothing wrong at all. Like I did nothing wrong. And I want you in the comment to tell me where I went wrong with this. I know we're talking about Wells Fargo, but it just I just wanted to show you guys, because I see a lot of people were saying that, oh, that's why we need more black executive and so forth. So I'm just broadening the conversation to say, look here. Sometimes we have these black executives and they serve no purpose. Because to them, sorry to use this terminology, but to them they are still somewhat our slave. They are. And they want to show their counterpart that, look, I am going above and beyond. Not because I'm black, I want to please these people. No. You guys paying my check. So I am above and beyond. And even if you guys don't want to do it and think that it is immoral for you to do it, I am going to do it and prove it to you. And that's just my personal experience. I'm just saying that to say, listen, sometimes these black executives, they serve no purpose. So with the old Wells Fargo situation, I personally believe it and I think it is true. It's sad that this person now just coming out and stating it after so many years you have been with the company. You have been a part of this behavior. You have been enabling Wells Fargo to do this kind of practicing. And I have to say, both for Wells Fargo and this individual, we see you and we know what you are all about. I just want to say the last thing here. I know that I also see where a lot of people are saying that, oh, that's why we need to go bank our money to the black bank and so forth. I have no issue with that. That is good. Because I remember some years ago I opened an account with People Nation, I believe it. Although I haven't used it since. But I did all of that. But I think Funky Deneva said it best, and he was saying that sometimes it's not a matter of we want to go to these big banks, Wells Fargo, you name it, and those, Bank of America and so forth, but it's all about accessibility. Because if you somewhere in, say, another state, sometimes these small black banks are not there. And the fee they charge you if you want to use, for example, use their card in a Wells Fargo ATM, it's outrageous. So I can understand why we as black people sometimes bank with these big banks. It's not that we want to do it, but it's just about accessibility. And I totally agree with what Funky Deneva said. I will give that to him because he said it, and it's true. Because I have, as I said, I open a people I think it's People Nation People Nation Bank, I believe, when they came on the Breakfast Club and Charlemagne the God was pushing them. I went and I opened it, but I haven't used it since. Because I think they're just one and Fordham Road. That's it. I don't know of any more. And that's where I think I went and opened the account. I don't know of any more in America or in town or wherever. So it's not a matter of we want to use these big banks, but it's just a matter of the accessibility that and how we can reach them. Because if you go somewhere in America, you go to Florida, you have your Wells Fargo, you have your Bank of America, you have your Chase, and the list goes on and on and on. So I'm just saying that we believe it. And Wells Fargo, you have done it to me. I personally can say it. You have done it to me, and I know about it. And this is something that happened in 2015 to me. And when the young lady said to me, I couldn't believe it. I was somewhat naive. At the time, I just came here. So I'm just saying, Wells Fargo, we see you and we see each other. So you can just leave a comment and we have a conversation. And if there's anything I said that you think that I've questionable, you can just leave a comment and we can have a conversation in the video. So please like and share. Thank you very much.